And it's... But like, yeah, when I was watching Boba Fett, I was like, there was honestly times I was like, I can't believe I have to watch 7 episodes of this. And then
you don't have to.
I do.
You don't have to.
Do. And
it's not like Transformers. You didn't pay for it.
Oh, I paid for it. The only currency I can't get back, time.
God, nothing will ever be as bad as those prequels, though. Like, I remember Kristen, she saw Phantom
Menace.
Menace.
Beer real quick?
I'm good for now.
Okay.
She saw Phantom Menace, and that was it. And then we watch a lot of stuff with like a lot of like cult movies where like people that just like, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go on Twitch, I'm gonna stream a bunch of movies that you've never seen, mostly Hong Kong film stuff, which is really good.
I've seen a lot of Hong Kong
There
films,
was one time, it was a special viewing. It was, hey, we've got Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. It's like, no. It's the localized Chinese version.
Yes.
With direct English translation, not localization. The direct English translation.
I've seen that where it's like translated then translated back.
Oh God.
She has made what is like it's like she has made Big Death or something like that.
Check result. She complete health, but we can't explain why she quick death.
Like, yeah.
I watched it with her and I prefaced it by saying, "It's like just so you know,
yeah,
this isn't the best
she has made
one.
Quick death. Yeah.
It's like, this isn't the best one. It's just the least egregious of the 3. And there were moments where she's watching that movie, she's like, no. Someone fucked around with this. There's no way this was in the real movie. I'm like, no, that was real. She's like, really? It's like, remember, least egregious.
Yeah.
The least egregious.
I don't know. I think my favorite might be Clone Wars because I'm pretty sure they never say midichlorian or Attack of the Clones. I don't think they ever say midichlorian.
Is so bad though, because you got to sit through all of that romance garbage.
But love is for love, who are lovers in love.
It's
but I am loved because you are loved.
Bad.
No, it's terrible.
It's so bad. And then you've got the whole thing where it's like Jango Fett hires another bounty hunter to do his job for him, and then it's just like, why?
My favorite part is where, like, remember, because that's the one where Natalie Portman falls out of the gunship and lands on the sand. They're like, are you okay? She's like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing
dumb,
is, like,
dumb.
Andor has none of that shameless nostalgia bait. The closest they come is Mon Mothma, and even then, it's not. It's like,
but it's not a cameo. It's a character.
No, she's a character,
right?
And it's not nostalgia because she has an actual arc. Because it's just like, it's not the Mon Mothma you know. Right. You're getting to know her now and everything that she had to give up in order to bring the rebellion to fruition.
Yeah.
Which is heartbreaking. That's the thing. It's like, Andor goes into culture.
It
like
does.
actual galactic culture.
It did go into culture quite a bit.
And galactic politics is, what are you, a neutralist? It's like, oh my God. I had never even thought about that before. Of course there's different political viewpoints.
Can't be well, because, you know.
We hadn't gotten that before Andor.
No, nobody was really invested.
It's in the book I'm reading now, but I mean, that's like.
Yeah. I haven't read a Star Wars book in a long time.
I'm reading Bloodlines by Claudia Gray. She's a young YA author, and it's actually really, it's good though.
I have a hard time with
It's about
YA.
Leia being disenfranchised with the New Republic Senate, and she's like, that's it, I'm out, I'm quitting, and this is like, but I'm doing this one last diplomatic mission, and I need to bring, she's like, I need to bring the
one
two
last
parties.
One pulls you in.
There are these two parties, the populists and the centrists. It's like, we need to bring everybody together. I need to do this one thing, and it's like, before I quit the Senate, and it's actually really good. It's really and it goes into politics, but it's also, there's plenty of action too. It's fun. It's fun. It's just like, there's so little of that though, because I've read some modern Star Wars books and they're not all good.
Yeah.
There's one called The Lords of the Sith that's like all like Darth Vader. It's like his Darth Vader.
Are they constantly doing a jig?
No, it's Darth Vader
like
and
Lord
Palpatine.
of the Dance?
Darth Vader and Palpatine crash on a planet and have to survive together, and like Darth Vader is constantly questioning whether or not he's going to betray him. It sounds neat. It's not. It's terrible. It's awful.
Seeing as they crash together and Palpatine's not dead, I think we already know how it ends. You know, that's the other problem too. It's like with all these prequel stuff, we already know how it ends. So
yeah, but
So you're not going to surprise me with a narrative. You're only going to win me over with characters.
Yeah,
which is what House of the Dragon did. I know the narrative already. We already know where this family ends
where
up.
it's going.
So give me the characters and make them count.
Diego Luna said that when, in an interview when talking about Andor. He's an executive producer on this.
Good. He should be.
He is. He said he's like it's refreshing playing a character knowing where it's going, so I can fill in those gaps. And it's like awesome. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
That's the thing. Modern Star Wars has made a lot of missteps. They've brought in a lot of really good people. Diego Luna,
They got the money, bud.
Oscar Isaac, my boy. Oscar Isaac, Diego Luna, Mads Mikkelsen's in there.
I mean, yeah, but
They even got he was in he was the guy that ended up betraying everybody in Last Jedi. I can't remember his name. He was in Sin City.
Benicio del Toro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm terrible with names.
He also plays the Collector in Marvel.
Yes, he does.
But yeah,
We're not talking about Marvel.
you know what? This is an unpopular opinion, but I actually think The Last Jedi is my favorite of the 3 new ones. I know it's
dude.
garbage. Yeah, I know it's garbage. Well, they're all garbage. They're all garbage and they're all stupid. I hate Canto. I hate the Canto sequence in Last Jedi. The Holdo maneuver where she uses the ship as light speed to destroy everything is... it looks cool, but it's stupid. There's not a lot I like about it, but what I did like...
It doesn't make any sense either. Like
No.
anything that Rey does with Luke doesn't make any sense.
No, but then again, her character doesn't get realized in any of the movies anyway. So to
Yeah, because they had no plan going in.
My favorite part was watching, because that's the thing I liked about Last Jedi was Kylo Ren and Rey playing off each other,
Yes.
both thinking they're winning the other one over to their side. That I liked. And I liked the idea of Rey being a nobody. I thought that was good. I don't know why you couldn't just... No, she's a Palpatine. It's got to be related. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Her being a nobody is what opens up your universe.
Yeah. There was... the thing is with...
I don't like any of them, but if I had to... If you... Honest to God, gun to my head, you got to watch one of them right now. I'm picking Last Jedi. Because
Really?
There are parts of it that I enjoyed.
Oh, come on. See, I got to go with Force Awakens because you've got Phasma at her prime.
Phasma does nothing in any of them.
Christie. No, she's the new Boba Fett, though. She's great. She's a presence. The minute she's on screen, you feel her, and it's like she's cool without doing anything. And that was awesome. And then it's like, what are you gonna do with her with the second film? Nothing. We're gonna kill her immediately. It's like, fuck off.
But that's the problem when you have the multiple directors, multiple writers, and nobody's communicating with each other.
Which is weird because there is a story group. Like I said, there's that group that's supposed to be. That's their job.
Kathleen
is that
Kennedy.
they handle the story.
Yeah. That's an executive producer job. That's what Kathleen Kennedy should have been doing.
God.
I don't know. But
that's...
honestly, Last Jedi was not a Star Wars movie I had already seen. And the lightsaber fights were not ridiculous.
No, they weren't ridiculous. No, but
I liked that whole throne room thing. I know everybody was mad that he killed Snoke. I don't care. Snoke's a non-starter to me.
I don't mind that he died. I mind that he died without any kind of explanation as to who he was, why he was doing what he was doing, and where he got the resources to do it.
Clearly from Palpatine, they established that in Rise of Skywalker.
Wasn't he a clone of Palpatine?
I don't like a malformed clone. I don't think
fucking
I don't care. I don't care. Rise of Skywalker doesn't count.
No, it doesn't count.
Force Awakens was not enough for me to sink my teeth into.
My problem is with Last Jedi is it wasn't subtle. It sledgehammered everything into you. It was a lot of tell, not show.
Well, it's a Rian Johnson movie. All of his movies are tell, not show.
It's just like, oh, we need to stop. It's like at the casino, and it's like,
I hated that.
We're gonna stop. We're gonna bring the entire movie to a grinding halt.
I hated that
to tell you
so
exactly
much.
what's going on. I already know what's going on. No, we need to tell you.
And then they also ruined the opportunity to send Leia out on a heroic note by having Kylo Ren blow her out of the bridge, and then you could trade on Kylo being like, "Wow, I can't believe I killed both my parents."
I gotta say, I'm pissed that I thought you had a green screen. I didn't wear my only Star Wars tangential T-shirt because it was bright green, and I figured it would have been keyed out, and it had the princess right there, and it's just like,
Run D&D's good.
Run D&D is classic.
Yeah. See, I've only got the one that says, don't fail me
again. God,
Star Wars, I'm talking to you.
It's going to. Yeah. It already has.
Do you think how long do you think, so this will be a two-part question. One, what will it take for you to think that Star Wars is, again, a top-tier franchise? And two, how long do you think it'll take for it to get to there?
I think it still is a top tier franchise in terms of like popularity, in terms of like quality.
I mean, in terms of something that would excite you, the viewer.
Honestly, for me, if they just slowed the fuck down on the production schedule and took time to really think about what they wanted to produce and put effort and care into that. Like, stop the CGI sweatshop. Like, for a number of reasons, you should stop the CGI sweatshop. But more so, just slow down. Take your time with the project. Figure out what... Like, look at the things that did well, that were received well, not just popular, because, you know, everyone's, you know, like, just, what is it? Fucking MILF Island is now popular in terms of, like, reality shows or whatever it is. But it's like, you know,
MILF Needs Lovin' Too, Dubs.
What?
Actually, it's a misnomer. It's more of a peninsula.
Yeah. If they took their time, step away from the Skywalkers. You could still do Jedi stuff. You could still do Empire stuff. Just step away from the Skywalkers. They're a small part of the picture. Maybe, like, I'm not saying, like, redo Legend stuff, but look at some of the Legend stuff. Look at what they did and try and do that, but better. I don't know how the High Republic stuff is. I haven't read any of it because I know it's mostly YA titles, which can be very iffy.
Not my favorite.
Charles Soule wrote the first one, and I put a lot of faith in him because he does good work.
Okay.
But I believe he did the Star Wars, Darth Vader run that I like. It was either him or Kieran Gillen, which I always confuse the two.
I have no idea. I just know I need to read the 2015 run.
No, just like, because there are certain things, you could just expand shit. Just like, it doesn't even like, I'm stunned that no one has done anything with the Hutts. Like, I guess Book of Boba Fett does, but it doesn't do it well.
Yeah, it could have been a much more interesting take on the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's focus on crime. I'm like, okay.
What people really need to do is they need to buy like an RPG book for Star Wars and then just like look at the lore that's in there and expand on that, because that's all good shit.
How long do you think it'll take for Star Wars to get back to that place where it's pumping out quality content? Or do you think it ever will? Or do you think it's too easy now to just churn out the member berries?
I think this is definitely a fad. I mean, the member berries is definitely a fad. It's going to go away. They all fads do. Like the 3D thing, it's just not going to happen for one reason or another. I say give it maybe 5-10 years, and I think we're going to see something really, really special like start to happen. Like something like, I want to say, like, give it 5-10 years. Let it be stagnant for a little bit.
It needs to.
And then it'll come back, and I'm hoping it comes in as strong as Marvel Phase 1 did.
Oh, that's a tall
That's what
order.
it really needs to do. It really does. I mean, and that not to say that Marvel's Phase 1 was perfect,
No,
because there are
but-
definitely stinkers in
But
there.
it was connected.
It was all connected, and
You
at
could
least
see it was building to something.
it was building to something. It was well produced. It made sense for the most part. Even the worst ones, like I think everybody could pretty much agree that the weakest of Phase 1 was probably Thor.
It was.
It was still good. It just was the
entertaining,
weakest.
but
Yeah,
it's-
Loki wasn't fleshed out very well. They sped up his origin story a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I think you need. But I think the problem is that they don't have that thing to build towards. That's the big problem, I think, with Star Wars.
All right.
Because with like the third set of sequels, like the last 3 chapters, they could have done something with that. They didn't, because they had nothing to build towards. They didn't know what they were doing. They just said, like, we got Star Wars, let's make new Star Wars. They didn't know what they wanted to do. I think what you really need to do in order to have Star Wars flourish, in terms of, like, if you're talking about movies, you need to have a structure. You need to have something that you're building towards.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're doing a series, that's when you can do whatever the fuck you want. You just go, you don't need to do, that's even more so with the series, you don't need to do the Skywalker shit. With the series, you can go deep. You can have an entire series. I would love to see an entire series set in Hutt space. In the aftermath of Jabba the Hutt's death, it's like, oh my god, the head seat on the High Council is dead. We have a giant power vacuum with an entire race of gangsters. I want to see that.
All right.
I want to see that.
All right, yeah. So follow the Andor route for you and make it smaller, character-driven, more
Character
personal
driven,
stories,
or just
smaller stakes.
Build off of what has already been established without retreading the same ground.
Okay.
Like, it's like Kenobi, like I said, Kenobi could have been that. You could have had if you had focused on the right things. It's like focus on his crisis of faith and on his questioning his abilities and questioning if he did the right thing for Anakin, for Leia, for Luke, for Padme, for himself. Have it be that character study and have like a small little adventure. It doesn't have to be anything big. They could have just done the whole Underground Railroad with the Jedi and have that be the whole have that be the series plot.
That would have been pretty
good. And
good.
having the Inquisitors trying to shut that down, and Kenobi's the only one that can help.
He's got like a holocron, and like they're sending younglings to him, and he's trying to get him out. And then
he has a valid reason to leave Tatooine.
Yeah,
because that's the other thing, though. Is like that's the other thing. The instant he leaves Tatooine, he becomes a target.
Yeah.
The Emperor will know where he is.
Everybody knows
Vader
where he is.
knows where he is. So his fact is like, oh God, Leia's in trouble. I guess I gotta go save her, even though
she just outran Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. She's doing all right.
I forgot that was Flea.
Who?
He was good. He was good. He had 2 lines. He was good.
He gets outrun by a
I did not like the other 2 aliens that were part of his group because they looked more out of something you'd see out of Star Trek than Star Wars. But that's a minor complaint.
Yeah. No, I
Star Trek has its own issues.
I'm pleased with
poor Star Trek.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation for another time.
Remember when Picard was a robot?
Anyways,
the bureaucracy of the Empire was done really well as well. Just like the prison and everything. Just
in Andor, they don't know quite how to hold everything together yet.
Yeah,
and they're trying to do it by trusting like the regional governments. And when they fail, that's when they start bringing everything more and more under, the monolithic control of the Empire. And Andor does a good job showing it's like, oh, that system's a little, bring it back in.
Oh my God, like that was like the best part when he comes back to Ferrix and everyone's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? It's like, what? Well, what did I do? What do you mean? It's like, we've got the Empire down now. Yeah. We just had the corporate sector to deal with, and they were bad enough. But now the Empire is taking over. Now it's so much worse.
Yeah, and that was a
now we have to deal with war crimes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh God, that was good too. Like even like little things. Like it's like how do they torture people? It's like well we found like when we killed this whole entire race of people, their death throes had some kind of resonance to them that drove people crazy. And it's like that's neat. That's cool story building. Where was this before?
I don't know.
Where was this before?
I kind of expected that squid monster that Saul Guerrero has to make an appearance.
I forgot about that.
From Gunny or whatever like that, like the.
You know what? I was fine with Saw Gerrera. By that time, he was. I mean, they did.
When they make the decision to sacrifice the other rebel group, wasn't that awesome? Oh. I forgot all about that till we were talking just now. When he's talking with Bill Skarsgård, and he's like, no.
Or the mole that tries to get out, and he's like, no, you're too valuable.
Yeah, yes.
You try to walk. What do you think is going to happen if you try to walk away? You think you're just going to walk away and everything will be fine? No, you're not allowed to walk away. This isn't what happens. You're
hard choices,
and it's just.
It's mature. It's mature storytelling. They understand the stakes of their show very well.
I loved it so much, I bought the Lego set.
Nice.
I did. I bought nice. It was overpriced as hell because of the Star Wars tax, but I bought it. I was like, that's a cool fucking ship. It's the Corpo ship with them on the speeder bike.
Probably cost you more to buy the Lego set than if they put out like a Blu-ray or something even.
I'm still not buying that. Whoa. If Andor, I'll buy an Andor, but it's just like, I don't own any of this stuff. I don't buy Star Wars. I own the DVDs that they came out with in college where the unfucked up versions were the bonus disc. And even then, it was full screen, and it's like, fuck you, George Lucas.
I bought the special edition of Last Jedi so I could see the behind-the-scenes features. And, buddy. Oh, boy. Yeah, the less said about those. I mean, there's like a whole documentary attached to it.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
It's just like, you could just tell, like, Rian Johnson's high on his own supply.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's just, you could tell that from like the word go. Like the first thing that happens is a very poorly done executed joke in the movie, and you're like, this is gonna be a
I
minute.
don't know. It's going to take a while, I think. Star Wars to me was always kind of fun. I don't think I've ever taken it very seriously. I take Andor seriously because
Yes.
it like
Oh, no.
shows me its tone and everything. I don't know if Star Wars for me personally will ever get to a place where I'm going to hold it like in the same regard that I used to. I think that well's a little poison, and I think the only way to bring Star Wars back for me is to completely move away from anything that's already established. Just invent some outer rim planets, set your own stories there within the Star Wars universe, have your own thing happening out there. Don't bring it into like anything that I've seen before. I mean, one or two
doesn't-
references, of course, because it's a shared world. But I would say just start fresh.
Yeah, I think that's for the best, and you can really, there's a lot that you can do with it too. It's like even like I said, just even if all you want to do is fill the gaps, you can do so much with that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many planets, there's so many things to do. Like, again, the books, like the old Legends books, did that well. Like, there's like a whole section that's just like on the Rogue Squadron, and it's like they're not like one of them.
They were going to do that show, but then it got
I would imagine that would be very expensive too.
it got canceled. Yeah, it was going to be a Mandalorian spinoff.
The Rogue Squadron?
Yeah, they were going to have. You remember those guys he meets at the ice planet?
Fuck, that's right. The season of cameos.
And then they also had those guys were in Book of Boba Fett too. Remember? They pull over Mando. Hey, you know what else is messed up about Book of Boba Fett? Why is Mando running around in a Naboo fighter? He can't collect
don't know.
bounties on that. You
No.
you can't collect bounties in that thing. There's barely room for the baby. Like, what are you talking about? How is that a better ship than like a Razor Crest that allowed him to store up towards like 20 bounties? He can't just like what is he gonna do? He's a bounty hunter. He's not a starfighter.
Even the fire spray, if you wanted a smaller, like the Boba Fett, you can't call it Slave 1 anymore. But
Right.
the fire spray, that's a small ship. That really doesn't have much cargo hold, but
Yeah.
it's like, that makes more sense.
But at least he can hold cargo.
Yeah, you could do shit with it. It's not a
Naboo
fighter.
He can't hold anything in it. I was like, why would a bounty hunter need a fighter ship? He needs a cargo ship.
It's a short-range fighter, too. It's not practical for long-range travel.
Oh, well, they say in this one, remember, it doesn't need the jump ring because they've modified it. So it is practical for long-range travel.
Well, no, I mean, no, that just means it has its own hyperdrive.
Yeah.
But I mean,
originally they
different,
needed the
there are
jump.
different levels of hyperdrive, though.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb. Nobody thought this through. They're like, wouldn't it be cool if
Yeah.
we brought back the Naboo fighter? It's a bounty hunter.
It's member berries.
He needs a bounty hunter ship. Well, Dubs, we've been going at this for a while. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Oh, God. Andor, yes. If you haven't watched Andor, you need to watch Andor. Even if you know jack shit about Star Wars. You don't need to. No. That's the best compliment I can give Andor, is that you don't need to know a damn thing about Star Wars
so right.
in order to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that is the best thing it has going for it. It is well directed, well acted, well produced. It looks amazing, and it doesn't take any more of your time than it needs.
I agree. I think Andor is definitely worth watching. I'm excited to see what they do for season 2, and I just hope they don't mess it up.
Well,
Dubs, thanks for coming over and talking about Star Wars.
Thank you.
And yeah, sure, we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to get out of this thing, so hard cut.